wait, I forgot one thing. Real quick, I'm going to give you the rundown of Wicked and the Wizard of Oz and let you know how these two stories are connected with one another. Now, we all understand and know the story of the Wizard of Oz. Dorothy's house gets taken up by a tornado. It lands on top of the Wicked Witch of the East. She steals her red magic slippers, goes down the yellow brick road to Oz to meet the wizard so she can go back home. On her way, Dorothy meets the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion. In this series of events, the Wicked Witch from the West dies. Now, this is where you think the story ends, but it's actually where it begins. Everybody's happy and celebrating because the witch is dead. Out of the sky comes Glinda, the Good Witch. She comes down and she actually tells the story of the Wicked Witch from the West, who she has history with. Now, the witch is named Elphaba, but you see, Elphaba had a problem. She was green. Now, being green made her an outcast. Why was she green? Well, simply because her mom was for the streets. Mom had an affair with a magic man who gave her some green liquor, and bada bing, bada boom, you have a green Elphaba. Elphaba had a younger sister as well, named Nessarose. Now, keep this in mind. Nessarose in a wheelchair. That's important to the story. Both Nessaro and Elphaba go off to a school to learn magic. And it's here that Elphaba and Glinda first meet. At first they hated each other, but through a series of events, they become roommates and eventually best friends. But this is also where it gets tricky. Glinda is in love with a pretty boy named Fiyero. Fiyero is in love with Elphaba. Now, Nessarose, she's in love with a munchkin man named Bach. And Bach is in love with Glinda, okay? He's only with Nessarose because she's in a wheelchair. Now, during their time at this magic school, Elphaba learns that her professors, who some of them are animals and can speak language, a lot of people don't like that. There's some hate speech thrown up on the board. Animals should be seen and not heard. That resonates deeply with her and her outcast experiences. So she ends up finding a young lion cub that she rescues and releases into the wild. And eventually he becomes the Cowardly Lion that we see in The Wizard of Oz. Fast forward a little bit, Elphaba and Glinda go to Oz and they actually meet the wizard. And he lays out all these grandeur plans that he want to make Oz a better place with the help of Elphaba and her magic abilities. However, they learn that it's the wizard who is behind the suppression of these talking animals. Now, this causes Elphaba to crash out. She does not agree with the wizard and refuses to work with him in any capacity. Now, this is where Wicked ends. This is where she sings Defy Gravity, or whatever the song is, and Act 1 is over. Jump forward into Act 2. Elphaba goes to visit her sister Nessarose, who's again in a wheelchair. And she gives her some red magic slippers that are supposed to help her walk. Bach no longer feels sorry for her, so he ends up breaking up with her. She no longer needs him. In her heartbreak and her grief, Nessarose curses Bach and takes his heart from him. And he actually becomes the Tin Man that we see in The Wizard of Oz. Wanting to protect her love, Elphaba goes to Fiyero, the pretty boy, and she puts a spell on him, taking away his brain. He becomes the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz. During all this time, the wizard is on the hunt for Elphaba, because now she's evil. Now she's the Wicked Witch, because she's all about social justice, power to the people. So he designs his plan. Let's use Nessarose, her younger sister, as bait. He creates this big storm, and this storm has a giant tornado in it. Same tornado that picks up Dorothy in her house and lands it on top of Nessarose and kills her. That's the Wizard of Oz, so on and so forth. Elphaba, wanting to get her sister's shoes back, hunts down Dorothy, and this is where we see Dorothy throw the water on the Wicked Witch. Once she's melted, the Good Witch Glinda comes down to that spot, and this is where Wicked and the Wizard of Oz connect with each other. Fiyero goes back to that spot where she was melted, knocks on the door, looking for some answers. Turns out there's a trap door. Elphaba is alive. She faked her death. She is not dead. Her and pretty boy Fiyero run off into the sunset, into happily ever after. And that's it. Ooh, wait, I forgot one thing. Now, Glinda goes back to the spot where Elphaba was melted, right? And all she finds is a small green vial and Elphaba's hat that she had given her. Come to find out, Elphaba's dad, the one her mama was running around with, the magic man, is the wizard the whole time. Ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy? Talk about family dynamics. Oh my God.